been coming to the East Coast, but I guess I believe they opened a terminal in Jacksonville too, someplace.
Okay, well, we will get to it. All right, so we got a lot of people signing in. The people are still signing in, and I just sent out a call them all message to everybody that registered. About 35 people coming on tonight.
Great.
We'll get rid of some of the housekeeping. And if you're looking at it on your computer or on your tablet, you'll see a little box like this. And I want to kind of tell you what it's all about and how it works. The thing you have to remember here is this little grab tab number 2. If you go ahead and you click on that, it'll go away. And then you click on it again, it'll pop back, and you can get into any of the different things that you might need. Number 3 is a toggle window. So when May Trucking comes on, Darlene comes in from May Trucking, you may want to go to their website so you can have one box up with us watching the webinar, and then you can also go ahead and even start your application for May Trucking as well. Number 4 is the hand icon, and I'm going to ask everybody to go ahead and click on their hand. This lets Rob and I know that you can hear us okay. So if I get everybody to click on their hand, thank you, Nick, thank you, Pat, thank you, Paul, thank you, Peter, Thomas, Ralph, Michael, Zachary. Okay, and I can put all those hands down in one quick swift like that. Number 5 is the microphone icon, and tonight everybody has a red line through it. We're in a listen-only mode for the first part of the webinar tonight. When Darlene gets here, we will go ahead and open up the microphone so that you can ask questions. Number 6 is the audio pane. Select the audio format, click the audio setup, select the mic and speakers. Okay, and there you go. You have the questions pane. If you're feeling a little shy tonight, you don't want to talk in front of lots of different people, there are no silly questions. I think Rob and I, we probably heard it all, right, Rob?
Just about, Andrew, yes.
You know, Rob, I was just looking. This is our 6th year of live webinars every Tuesday night.
Is it really? Gosh, that's unbelievable. I know time. It doesn't seem that way, does it, Andrew? I know.
It flies. It flies.
Yeah, it's really.
All right, so you type your question in, and then you hit the send button or the submit button, okay? And then if you wanted to call your friends and family and say, hey, May Trucking is on tonight, and you want to find out more about them, by all means, you would just give them that 9-digit code on the bottom of your screen, not the one that I'm using in this example. And they can go to joingotomeeting.com, put that 9 digits in, and they would be on with us. Quick overview of what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about who we are. We're going to talk about the trucking industry. We're going to talk about our truck driving school. And, of course, what it is that we're going to be able to do for you. So, Rob, while we're waiting on Darlene, why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about who we are, and I'm going to see if I can find a phone number for her.
You did, sure enough. You know, this is something I've always been pleasurable. You know, I started back in the industry as a Teamster driver, and then eventually when I moved to Florida in '73, became an owner-operator, and since then been involved in all kinds of trucking situations and all kinds of recruiting and so forth. So there's not too much about most of the guys, myself, don't know about the industry. Anyway, we started back in '78 as a proprietary post-secondary vocational educational institution, and this is something that we've been always been committed to providing the strong curricula. The curricula that the students, when they come out of school, they're going to work and they understand the industry. Programs here emphasize practical and usable skills, of course, and these have been blended with a relevant general education foundation. A caring environment, yes. From guys like Andrew and I who have been out in the field for years, and all the rest of us are the same way. That personal attention and that faculty-student interaction is so important for the instructors. They're very, very close to our students. They keep their eyes on the students. They direct the students. And this is what it's all about. And these are the key things of making a successful school, especially in the trucking industry. That's why they love us. That's why they're here all the time. Anyway, we also have that great one particular combination of 2 words, open door admission, don't we, Andrew? This is a great thing that we've always had. Open door admission
policy, Rob, is kind of a big deal because, you know, there's a lot of schools, you know, that work, you know, like the college programs every semester. They got a new class and it's 12, maybe 16 weeks long. Or the you got these other ones that you know every quarter they have a new program. We have a new program every other Sunday, and what's kind of cool about our program is that we basically you start with the same instructor and you go through the whole thing with the same instructor all the way through, which is a really big deal. You get to know your instructor and you feel very, very comfortable with that. Go ahead, Rob.
Oh, there we go. This is where it all started, Andrew. You know, actually we would start even before this, but this was specially built in 1987, and this is the only thing that was ever designed that we can find throughout the United States is made to a professional truck driving school. Anyway, we're going to get into a little bit more. We just want to point this out quickly. State-of-the-art training facility, no doubt about it. Mile and a quarter, multi-lane highway. You train and the first week here, you're on that driving yourself. Well, without a license, you don't need to, because this is our CDL. This is our private area here. So we give you a chance really to build up your character, your desire, your fears about driving a larger vehicle. We don't want you to be intimidated. We're going to wipe that all away from you. But, you know, this has sort of proved itself over the years. We've graduated over 38,000 students since 1978. I think that sounds quite, you know, that's quite an impressionable thing, Andrew, when you say that. You know, my God, 38,000. But anyway, here we are. You know, we're also approved by many different agencies, and of course, one of the first ones were vocational. And, you know, this is fully licensed by the Commission for Independent Education. This is very important to us. Dante's improved our students coming from the military, whether they're coming in straight from the military or they're retired or whatever, just get out under the 10-year plans. This is great. This is where they'll come for their training, and they come from all over the country. You know, we're licensed by the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. What this all means to the student who comes here is value and, of course, definitely employer recognition. They recognize our graduates every time. So important.
Okay, why do trucking companies, why do students travel from all over the country to attend national training, Robin? This is a good question. We have a very comprehensive, it's a very well-rounded program. We're not like those Monday schools out there. We're not like the CDL mills that may not be what they seem to be. They only teach one thing, and that is to hold that steering wheel between the two white lines.
Right. That's right.
And, you know, we talked just before about the community colleges, and you know, a lot of those programs are less expensive, and some of them are really good programs. The problem I have with them, though, is they take way too long to complete. You know, you're talking about 12, 16, 18 weeks long. This program, Rob, that you're talking about here with national training, 4 weeks long. Week 5, you're getting paid. Week 6, you're getting paid. Week 7, you're getting paid. So any money that you saved by going through a community college program, you lost in valuable pay. So we offer a very high-value education at a very reasonable tuition in a very, very short amount of time. Now, we're licensed by the state of Florida and recognized from coast to coast by major motor carriers. We have that state-of-the-art training facility and representative equipment that's being used in the industry today. We have very, very convenient financing packages. And, you know, what it all boils down to is we offer the most hands-on training in the shortest period of time, a training above and beyond just getting that CDL license, and a very, very successful placement assistance program. And many of the trucking companies recruit from national training. Rob, talk a little bit about the national training difference.
There is such a difference, Andrew. I mean, this is what I tried to, just in a few minutes of starting off the program, I just want to emphasize that national is designed so that a student and an instructor get very close. They get not only just, as you said, holding that steering wheel between the two lines. There's so much more than that. Getting out on the actual highway, driving an 18-wheeler, getting the feel of it, getting the moment of truth when you're there out on the highway, you're in the traffic, and things happen, and to be aware of those things that are happening. We try to emphasize these things constantly. You never know. You're driving a vehicle that's many, many tons and coming down the highway. You're in control. There's nobody else there. You've got to remember this. You've got to understand that this is so important to the industry, to the trucking company, to yourself, to your family, that you've got to be always on guard. You know, you never know. When you're driving, I drove many, many years. God forbid, I had no problems. But these things can happen so many times. You know, the little old lady who's in front of you, she's got her left-hand signal on and decides to turn right. These things happen. Now, of course, they've got a lot of these emergency things on the vehicles now that slow you down when you get too close. But there's other things, too. Some of those little emergency things sometimes don't work, even designed. I mean, a lot of the companies still don't have them. You've got to know these things. You've got to be out there. You know, that means the right training. Training means job security, and it's security for your wife, your family, yourself, everything. I mean, this is what it's all about. So just remember, when you come to our school, it's going to be always a safety-orientated session, too.
And, of course, Rob, national training is where the trucking companies come for new drivers. And I just tried to get a hold of Darlene at May Trucking, and with no avail. Seems that everybody has left their office. So we can maybe just kind of quickly go through the slides. They're celebrating their 70th year in business. Looks like a very, very nice company to work for.
It looks outstanding. Yes, it really does.
Okay, quick history is May Trucking Company began in Peyote, Idaho in 1945, a long time, hauling sacks of cement to construction sites. Today, May Trucking operates a fleet of more than 1,000 tractors, providing transportation services for refrigerated and dry products throughout the United States. Our company has operated centers located in Salem, Oregon, Payette, Idaho, Layton, Utah, Phoenix, Arizona, Denver, Colorado, Gary, Indiana, Nashville, Tennessee, and actually it's Pensacola, Florida. Very good. And we have a lot of students to come from that Pensacola area. Celebrating over 70 years in business, May Trucking Company knows that our people make us successful. We employ only the most talented drivers. They have the latest technology and the best equipment to ensure that May Trucking Company remains second to none. Very nice. Due to our excellent safety, compliance, and vehicle inspections record, the state of Oregon recognizes May Trucking Company as a trusted carrier. So they have special license plates on the May Trucking Company tractors that identify our drivers to the public and to the enforcement agency among the safest and most compliant driver in the nation, Rob. And that's a pretty big deal, isn't it?
That's quite good. Yeah, I've never heard of that before, Andrew. That's really a first. And that's great. You know what I mean? When they go out, the state actually goes out and does that. That must really mean that the company is outstanding as far as their safety procedures and so forth. That's great.
Absolutely. And, you know, then we talk about the different regions that they operate in. And, you know, these would be areas also that they hire in as well. Salem, Oregon is their corporate headquarters. Payette, Idaho, Operations Center. Layton, Utah, the refrigerated division. Phoenix, Arizona is an operations center. Denver, Colorado, they have an operations center. Gary, Indiana, an operations center. Nashville, Tennessee. And Pensacola, Florida, operations centers. Off our coverage, Salem, Oregon is their headquarters. Single point of contact or regional. Nice. Peak management, advanced planning, engineering, fleet, brokerage. Okay, so they're going to make sure that you always have freight. That's what that says to me. Making appointments. It looks like it's all done online, all electronic. And the trailer pool management, so they do a daily yard check, local fleet check. So they're keeping track of their equipment very, very well as well. So lots of different services. It seems like they really have their stuff together there. And Rob, you know something about these trucks here?
Yes, they are. Yeah,
they're talking about having 1,000 trucks, tractors. And
they look pretty nice too, don't they? I don't think they're look like no more than 3 years old at the oldest, if that doesn't.
Right.
Really.
And so they use Freightliner Cascadiers, International Pro Stars, and Peterbilts.
Right.
And,
very nice.
I like those Peterbilts. Nice.
Yeah, You got good taste, Andrew.
Oh, yeah. So I'm kind of looking at the different things here. All air ride, of course, equipped pro driver. Let me go back to that real quick. Michelin steering drive, the walk-in sleeper. Okay, so these are kind of extended just a little bit. 300-gallon fuel capacity, 8 fuller, 13 speeds, all 13-speed trucks. Really nice. All right. So you must meet certain requirements in order to operate a commercial motor vehicle. So, Rob, a lot of the same things that we put in our webinar about what are the qualifications, that's exactly the way May hires.
Right online.
You got to be 21 years of age, must be able to read, write, speak English well enough to converse and understand traffic signs and respond to official inquiries or fill out required forms and reports. Must have experience or training to safely operate the type of equipment you drive. Okay, so that's the training certificate. That's what they would get with us.
Right.
Must pass a required physical exam, a DOT physical, and are physically qualified to drive. That's a DOT physical, an eye test, a hearing test, ear analysis. Must have passed and be issued a certified of driver's road test. So that's your third-party test, right? We do that right here, don't we?
Yeah, right here.
Okay. Must provide your employer a list of any violations for which you've been convicted in the last 12 months. Wow. Okay. Most other companies are looking for 5 to 7 years, so that's pretty good there.
Well, they probably want to know every little thing. It doesn't necessarily they're going to disqualify you, Andrew, in that.
Yeah, they're just saying for 12 months, though. That's
12 months, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Must not be disqualified to drive a commercial motor vehicle. That's obvious. Must have a valid operator's license for the class of vehicle that you're going to be operating, which in this case would be a Class A license. Start your career off right after graduating from your accredited school with MTC, or the May Trucking Company, to lay the foundation for your successful career. We will help you hone your driving skills while showing you the ropes in the industry. The length of your training is entirely determined by your skills. And Iwi was telling me that she had quite a couple of students that have gone through May. One of them went through 2 weeks out there with one of their company trainings. The other guy went 5 weeks. So it depends upon you.
But you can show the trainer.
Now, this part here really interests me, Rob. It says there is a flat pay option. Sign up for this option after you solo out, and you're guaranteed $735 a week for the first 90 days. So this option guarantees you a paycheck regardless of your mileage. At the end of the 90 days, you'll be paid a bonus for performing the above $735 a week average. You can't lose. So that's huge. And I see more and more companies kind of going with the guarantee. That's pretty good. But when I asked them a little bit about their pay schedule, and this is what they did. When you're out when you're out there with the trainer, your minimum is $630 a week. Some of the other companies we hear about, $450 to $500. So this is pretty good.
That's pretty good. It is.
When you solo, about 35 cents per mile, with the guarantee of $735.
Then that could be more, of course.
Could be more, sure. That would be your minimum.
90 days.
That would be your minimum. And then 6 months, it bumps up. You get another raise in 6 months, so it goes up to 36 cents with a guarantee of $805. And I like that as each bump that you get, you're getting more and more money. And then after 6 months, 1 year, they're going to give you another 3 cents per mile, a guarantee of $9.10 per week. And I'm sure, and then thereafter, 1 cent increase per year that you're with them.
That's right.
So that works out to some pretty nice money there.
Well, the one thing I do like about them, Andrew, and you probably see that it's right in black and white. You know what I mean? They put it in large letters. It's something that they have emphasized. evidently emphasize, and they keep it there. Because you see something like that, a lot of times it's in the small print, but that's pretty good. It's right there.
Yeah.
I like that.
So, May Trucking, I was hoping Darlene would be here to ask questions. I'm afraid that I wouldn't be able to answer any of the questions that you might have on this because I have not talked with them.
Right.
But they did send in this PowerPoint. So all this is good. So why don't we go ahead and take down their email. If you got a pen and paper, people, go to info@maytrucking.com. info@maytrucking.com. Darlene is the person that you're going to speak to. Okay.
Where is Darlene out of? Did she say where she's calling from, Andrew?
Iowa.
Calling from?
She's from Iowa. And I'm wondering if it's the time zone difference there.
That could be true, yes.
That's why we can't get her.
That's in Central Time, yeah.
So Central Time, it still would be 5 something there, right? It would be 4 something there.
Yes, right.
And I called, they were closed. So, okay, very good. All right, very good. And let's go pop back to where we were, Rob, right here. And, when we hear about companies like May Trucking, we didn't hear anything about their benefits, their health insurance, and we didn't hear about the 401k and things like that. And when I was
tuition
doing
reimbursement and so forth.
Yeah, the tuition reimbursement. I know they have that. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, right. It didn't say. I was surprised.
When I went to the website and I started looking through some things earlier today,
right.
I know that they have that. But why drive a truck for a living? And I think that some of the things that we heard there from May Trucking, and of course we've had hundreds of other companies come on over the weeks, over the last few years. There's a really good reasons for driving trucks, isn't there, Rob?
There certainly is, Andrew. The beauty of it is it's one of the few industries that when you can come out of school like ours after only 4 weeks and make that kind of money immediately. I mean, we have some companies that are even more than that. You know that. I mean, they're all different.
Sure.
You have to study. You have to look at them. You have
Sure.
to come to our webinars and see the difference. But we have all different situations and all different types of companies. Some offer more because maybe the hauling the product is more, out there, more, more expensive or whatever it might be. But it's something that you can easily, even that year, said at the end of the year with that company is basically around $40,000. Somewhere's in there, you can get close to 40.
Well, yeah, that's on the low end, though.
No, but I'm saying, first year's earnings coming right out of school between 38 to 42,000. That's safe right there. It's exactly what you're going to be making. And as I say, people coming out of larger schools, whatever kind of industry it is, it's just, whatever you're going to go to, how many people can do that with a 4-week training program and make that company? Oh, sure, it's not a 9-to-5 job, but, God, you got to put in a little bit of time, to make some money here. And this is exactly what it gives you a chance for your family to start, to making some money, get the benefits, get all the pluses that are so wonderful in this industry that offered by the industry to keep you there in the industry, to give you the benefits and to be able to, really do something for your family. That's a wonderful thing.
Right.
And this is one of the industries that does this.
Now, Rob, when we talk about
I've been here all these years.
Sure.
What does that mean?
When we talk about the huge demand for drivers, and I open up a lot of the industry papers, and I talk about the truck driver shortage. How does that come about?
Well, there's so many combinations. Number one, Andrew, you've got the old timers like myself have been out there for many years, and they just said, this is enough. I've had enough on the road. I'm going to haul myself. I'm going to retire with the family and get a motor home and start traveling. I don't know why they want to do that, but anyway, I just say that. But anyway, this is what it is. It's just that the industry is losing thousands and thousands of drivers who are going through that baby boomer thing, and that's exactly what's going on. And of course, then you have the situation of all the rules and regulations set up by the DOT, the new DOT, and the Homeland Security, and all the other things that are out there. These things are just, a lot of the old timers don't like it, and so they're leaving too because of that. That's another reason. They're not used to it. I know some guys, I was talking to some of the drivers that originally, just you remember when the computers or the logbooks went on the computers? They were fighting. Those guys were just fighting a tooth and nail until they started using them. And then they said they were all right. But some guys probably left over that. There's a lot of different things that changed the industry over the years, Andrew. But the big thing now is that it's just that the companies got caught short on this. They didn't realize this was going to happen, and all of a sudden the industry boom, transportation boom. We're out of the recession right now, sort of. We're going into better times.
A lot of jobs out there today, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's just wide open. It's just wide open, and of course, these companies have got caught short, and they're all competing now. So they've got all these odds. These odd things, that you can't have so many felonies, you can't have this, you can't. I remember when we started, you probably do, Andrew, we could just about get a guy who came out of prison, who could get into this. But it's very difficult. It's a little bit harder. There are companies that we have that we work with that make it a little easier for them, and we can get into that sometime. But the whole idea that it's a different thing. It's one of the very few industries that you can start making a decent living as soon as you come out of school. That's the big thing.
So it used to be when people went into this industry and you're going to be gone for a little bit, it was always about the money. And, the last survey we did, it was more about the adventure. I mean, the money came in close second. But the adventure, you get to see the country, get paid to do it. Lots of great benefits in the industry. We had this recession. The trucking industry really didn't get hurt with that.
No, it did.
With all the, even with the Obamacare, the truck drivers didn't go part-time. They were still full-time guys, like what happened in the other industries. And of course, you always talk about the freedom. It might have some of the company name on the side of the truck, but you're the captain of that truck, aren't you?
You sure are, Andrew, and this is the responsibility that's loaded onto you. And this is one of the reasons that you are getting paid well. I mean, you're the guy who's driving that vehicle. It's got to go from point A to point B. Give me a call when you get there and bring it back, safely. That's all I want. And that's what the companies are saying. And do the job, and we're going to pay you for it. We're going to pay it well. And then there's bonuses on top of this. So we'll get into that, though. This is something. Okay. All these things are so prevalent, in the industry.
Now, Rob, pretty much, a guy going out there today. There's lots of different truck driving jobs. We're coming out of school. Most guys are going to go out. They're going to go over the road, probably be gone for 7, 10, maybe 14 days at a time. Mm-hmm. And what's really kind of important for them to understand is that tractor that they're driving is really their home away from home, isn't it?
It certainly is, Andrew. It's not like when I started back in the 50s, believe it or not. And this is something, when we did have sleepers, it was more or less bring blankets and lay them on the seat and prop something up for your head. That was about it. And, and then wintertime, you couldn't, the diesel engines cool right down. We didn't have decent heaters and anything. You froze your bananas off. Really, it really wasn't much fun. But, when you're younger, maybe you tolerate it. If you don't have any better, you don't know any better, right? This is the thing. So look at the equipment. This is about 3 to 4 years old, these Kenworths here. But look at the size of that bed. Now, that's ideal for a couple of wives.
That'd be like a husband and wife team, maybe?
Yeah, isn't that great? And you got the sound retention, the tufted ceilings and walls for sound retention. And of course, there you have the separate controls there on the left-hand side, because you get extra, your own air.
You could have heat back here and maybe air conditioning up on the front or vice versa.
Sure, and they usually have in that far corner, which we don't see, is going to be another television that they can lay in bed and watch it when they're off the road, and just taking it easy and everything, and then, of course, there's a refrigerator, microwave on the other side. Now, all these are not provided by the companies, but they will hook them up by their own mechanics. Most of them, they like that, to be able to get into they have their inverters there. Anyway, there's a little bit of turnaround there. This one's a little bit different. That's similar to what they have. It looked like they have windows in all of their trucks. The ones we just saw there from May. And anyway, there's that. That's more or less for a double.
A bunk bed here.
Yeah, your bunk swings right down. And, of course, there you can see your second seat turns right around there, a little twist seat, and you pull out that little shelf where you can do your, whatever logbooks or whatever you want to do, your readings and so forth. It's got there. Your TV's on the wall. And of course, the way you don't see a lot of your other hookup things, but it's all in there. It's all compacted and so forth. And up there, that top screen, that more or less, we want to show you the width in there between the seats. You get wraparound steering wheel. That's kind of neat. It's right there in front of you.
Yep.
Yeah, this I said wraparound steering wheel, wraparound dash, and of course we want to just show also the height. 6'2", 6'3" guy can walk straight back there without even bending. It's really neat, very comfortable inside. But of course, one of the finer piece of equipment, what we think, is the one that we're going to show in a second.
This is the Volvo. This is the Volvo 740. And Rob, what was the name of the company? Abilene. Now, right?
Yeah. They're out of Virginia.
We had one of our graduates. Him and another guy came in from Abilene. And it was one of the job fairs we had, and he drives. This is his truck here. I mean, this is like driving a motorhome going down the road.
It is, isn't it? It looks just like it. Believe me, it's really really comfortable looking thing. It's just everything's confined. You know, there's nothing. You don't see anything. Everything's behind your doors. They just open them up, and everything is right there. Your TVs, everything.
All
really great.
Storage too.
Yeah, everything. It's really beautiful.
Really a nice outfit here.
And then you go to the right there.
I brought one with the bunk down.
Yeah,
again, this turns into a twin. This turns into a twin here.
Right, exactly.
Bed there. But look at this. The drawer pulls out, and it's a sink. How cool
is that? That's why I say everything is hidden. Everything is right there at your fingertips, and it's really neat.
Too cool.
And look there, up on the wall. I never see it. You can see a picture of your microwave too, sitting back in here. It looks like a cup up there in the corner. You see it up there in the far.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's a really beautiful piece of equipment.
How many guys or girls that are on with us tonight are thinking about maybe owning their own truck one day? Go ahead and just raise your hand if you think about owning your own truck. Good. Well, quite a few. I want you to look at this International, and pretty much you can pimp out any kind of truck that you want, whether it's a Peterbilt or a Freightliner or an International. When you're buying it, you can spec it any which way you want.
Any which way you want.
He's got cherry wood floors, very, very nice. He has, you pick the color of the leather, what kind of cabinets you want. But what I like most is the top part. You get the dashboard. It has all the backlit gauges, very easy on the eyes. All of the controls right there. It has Bluetooth built right in, so no problem with the phones and things like that.
Everything.
So just a nice looking truck.
Right, beautiful.
As an owner-operator, you can make that truck any which way you want. Let's go ahead, Rob, and talk about the different types of trucking.
Sure. Most of our students coming out of school, they're 4 weeks, they're all biting at the bit to get going. They can't wait. I suppose that last week is really pulling at them, wow. Well, anyway, we got the company standing by. Most of our students are pre-hired even before they leave, so they know where they're going at this time. Some of them don't, but some of them want to plan other things. That's fine. But the whole idea is most of our students want to go OTR, over the road. And of course, it's a great pay scale, as we say, starting out between $38,000 to $42,000. You're going to find out all these things from the different, the recruiters that come to our school, and normally we get probably 4 or 5, 6 of them during your 4-week session, so you have a chance to really talk to them on all different areas. Bonuses and incentives, no doubt about that. There's always things that are going to be incentives, your safety awards and all these things. You're making your terminal time, fuel incentive awards. These are all extras that, of course, these companies lay out. Top-of-the-line equipment, tuition reimbursement, that's important, and that all of our companies have that. Advancement opportunities, yes, you can go beyond, being just a driver if you want. You can advance maybe going into safety orientation analysis, or maybe recruiting, or, there's so many areas here, and they always hire within, because this is where, you're talking to another ex-driver, and get a lot of respect from that. Serious money and benefits, this is combined with a whole new lifestyle, of course. A lot of people sometimes, it's a little bit different, but you are out there, you're making money right away. And then, of course, we have companies that have a combination of things. We have the regional driving, and this is hauling freight of all kinds, of course. You remain primarily in a specific area of the country. Most of the guys who run that I know of, and ones that come to our school, and we talk to some of the other companies that do this. They're usually a tri-state area, like for example wherever you are. So you're home usually guaranteed pretty much on the weekends, or might be during the course of or during, depending where you live, you might be home almost every other night, and some guys maybe nightly. It all depends on the carrier, and you'll find these things out. Most offer weekly home time, pretty much great pay, steady runs, company benefits, and all of our driving jobs that come to our school, the companies do offer tuition reimbursement. So that's another thing.
Rob, I'm getting a question here from Patrick. And he says that his brother is riding he's saying a dedicated rent. Is that the same as regional?
Well, pretty close. The difference between regional is that you could be pulling just pretty much freight in a certain area. Dedicated means that your company is pulling trailers. It might be from Lowe's, or it might be from Home Depot, or it might be from, Target. They're all different. You're pulling their trailers, and it goes only to their stores. So pretty much you know where you're going, which a lot of guys like, because it's pretty much standardized, and you're home. You can almost visualize when you're going to be home. It's a great thing to get into, and you can always put in for that. You get all the same thing as your regional if you're looking on this board here. Same thing, the benefits, everything. Nothing changes, and, of course, tuition reimbursement. But it's just that it gives you a little more opportunity to point your life in a direction, know that you're going to be there and home to your family. Anyway, that to me, because I know my son was driving for that particular type of a situation. So it was good. He loved it. It was really nice. So that's nice too.
Very good. All right, then there's our local guys.
Then the local jobs. Okay, a lot of guys, maybe they've been, this type of thing is designed for a student who doesn't mind going in and out of stores, maybe 30, 35 times a day, maybe more. I mean, it depends. You see the trucks pull into the restaurants and the small stores. Somebody's delivering freight to the local markets. It requires multiple stops every day. It requires usually unloading, not loading. The loading is done usually the night before, but you have to also be able to handle yourself as far as proper unloading. You got a little bit more paperwork to do because you're probably counting off the freight. But, you're making a decent wage. There's some companies that pay very well.
So you're not going to get paid by the mile.
No, you're not going to get paid by the mile, and it probably will break down a little bit differently, But, it's some guys want to be home with that nightly skill, but you are handling the merchandise, and some guys don't want to be in and out of the truck. When you're running long distance or regional, you don't usually have to touch anything, and that's usually the nice part. You go from point A to point B and then back, or maybe 3 or 4 stops and then back. So, there's a little bit of difference. Anyway, we know, Andrew, the guy that you had a couple of years ago, he was fantastic at what he does today. It's really
He was a guy that he was a dealer up in Atlantic City, and he came down. He moved to like Sarasota or something like that. Came to school here and graduated top of his class. And he went to work for Schneider in their tanker division. And he got a job driving for Schneider tanker from Port Everglades to Fort Myers 3 times a day, 6 days a week. Rob, this guy cleared $65,000, and he slept in his own bed every night.
Every night, yeah. See, there's the thing, Andrew. He has hazmat. That's a little bit of a plus too. That's
right place, right time for sure. But those jobs are out there.
Yes, they are. Absolutely. You're not going to fall into them. Hopefully you do. But he happened to be there at the right time, and that's what it was. And he was grabbed right away.
The other downside of the local driving is I don't think any of those companies offer the tuition reimbursement.
No, not at all. No, not that I've heard. But I've heard that some of them offer, because you're making so many drops, there's a lot of different things. A lot of your pay scales are a lot different, Andrew. Like you said, some will pay certainly for so many drops, some will pay hourly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things. But you have a chance to get
that a lot too.
Yeah, wrong, exactly. Anyway, it depends on what you're looking for. Here's a good chart. That'll help us out a little bit, Andrew.
And I always tell students when they come to the school here, they want to know how much can you make. And pretty much I tell them the national average for a truck driver is somewhere between 25 cents and 45 cents a mile for an entry-level driver. And I think that's pretty right on. The federal government, they always break it down to an hourly rate. So we look at general freight from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, about 500,000 jobs out there, at $19.83 an hour, or about $41,000 a year. So it's pretty much dead on to what we tell people. Look at grocery and related, though, right? And, they talk about if there's ever a strike for truck drivers, that, the humanity would be...
it would be a horrible thing. It would shut everything down. It would be horrible.
3 days or something like that.
Yes,
so in plain English, if you're making $700, $800, $900, $1,000 a week, that's darn good money. If you're going to be a team driver, we didn't talk too much about that, and I don't know if May Trucking does teams or not, but team drivers are they can make $75,000, $80,000 a piece, $150,000, $160,000 per team.
Yes, there's no doubt about it.
So that money is huge.
Right.
That money is huge out there. The DOT qualifications, I think we covered that with May Trucking.
Pretty much. That was pretty much a standard thing, yeah. So 21 years I've passed the DOT physical. Read, write, and understand English language, pretty much right there on the board. Background that qualifies him or her to possess a CDL. I think they just go by that. I don't think they seem to add too much more than that. It's really true. We have a little bit more. Ours is a little bit more to the war.
Ours, I think, is a little bit more difficult, and I think that,
there's a reason,
we play it very smart, and the bottom line is we want to ensure that you can benefit this training before you start. Are you employable? Are you able to get a job? So the things that we look at are going to be things like driving record. May Company talks about 12 months. We're going to look at, probably 5 years, felonies, DUIs, things like that. We're going to look at criminal backgrounds. A lot of companies today won't hire you with a criminal background, depending upon what it is, case-by-case basis. The physical ability, some companies want you to be able to lift 50 pounds, some 25, some 75, depending upon what it is you're going to do. And then, of course, administer that drug screen. We do a drug screen the very first day of school. If you play around with drugs at all or anything like that, trucking industry is not for you. Once you get into the industry, you're subject to random testing in any company you go to. And it's not that they suspect you or anything like that. It's just that's what the industry is today. Everything comes down to safety, safety, safety. But the most important thing is we want to see what your intensity is to succeed. Are you able to get a job? And that's what's most important to us.
Right.
Now the action, day one, right up at the school. Got that 1.25 mile highway. These guys are out here doing pre-trip inspection. They're out there on the 1.25 mile highway. They're going to go to the backing pad. We'll talk some little bit more about this. And then pretty much by the end of the second week, Rob, they're out on the public roads already.
Absolutely.
And very little classroom, lots and lots of hands-on training. Here's an instructor the very first week up there, and he's going over exactly what each one of the instruments, where they should be, what levels they should be at when you're shifting, and what the engine should be doing, what the tractor should be doing, okay, where the air should be at, okay, and then of course our campus.
This is our campus, Andrew, and this is something that we've tried and tried. We've looked all over the country to even get close to this, if we could find something like that. But in Denver, I thought Denver would be a great place to see trucking schools. Now, there's nothing out there. They have a little pad out there that were driving, one of the major companies. I'll tell you something. This was designed for professional driving, and there's no doubt about that. There's something that you can start right out the first day and drive on this, and don't worry about oncoming traffic, because you're all going. We want to make sure that when you look in those West Coast mirrors, you know that there's another 53, 55 feet behind you. This is what it's all about. We want to make sure that you feel comfortable and that your family knows that you're going to be comfortable and getting used to driving before we put you out on the major highway. So this is important. Then let's go over to this little eighth of a mile in here. You see that? Those little little slots right there where Andrew is, that's actually our backing pads. You're going to back in there on the left-hand side. That's the good side. And you're going to back in there on the blind side. So you get used to straight line backing, and there's cones in there besides. So we want to make sure that you're really getting in there tight. On the other side, we're going to do some parallel parking. You're going to say, wow, parallel parking? Yeah, you'll be doing that. You'll be doing that, and you'll do well at it. And then, of course, that's the next step. And then, of course, we're going to get over here where you're going to be hooking up and docking, hooking up your trailers, hooking up the airlines, really loading and, check and make sure everything is right, making sure that when you pull out, everything is going to be solid. Over there, we're going to do some pre-tripping. That's the other idea of making sure the companies, we'll all be doing that for the company. It's one of the things that companies test you on. They want to see how you pre-trip, testing out, looking at the tires, the brakes, and the wheels underneath your airlines, etc. Then over here, we're going to get over in this area here, where Andrew is. That's going to be, cones are going to be set up 70 feet where you're going to be backing them down. You're backing your trailer down through there, making sure that it's really, you're running true to form. You're not knocking any of the cones down. I'm sort of putting this all in a little bit of a whole area here at one time. This is going to be over your 4-week session, of course. So we're going to do everything. And then, of course, highway driving. I don't want to forget about that. And then getting from your secondary roads all the way out to the state highways leading into the federal highways, I-95, 295, and so forth. We're going to make sure that this is all done properly because we are third-party testing for the state of Florida. There's no guys in blue uniforms will come in here. We are licensed by the state of Florida to give the final test. That's the beauty of it.
So what that happens is basically it's 4 weeks. They graduate, and then they can sit for the state test and do it right in the same trucks they trained on.
Right in the safety, right there at the school. The same area. You're not going to a separate area. You're going to a motor vehicle where you don't know where they're going to take you. Everything is done there, and you're well rehearsed before that because we want to make sure. You're going to have to pass the test, there's no doubt about that, but you just feel more comfortable about it. So this is the key ingredient, I think, that the students will tell us over and over again. Remember, you're going to walk out of there with your CDL Class A license, and that's the big thing with us. That's why your companies that know national training are going to be there recruiting, and this is a big thing, of course, with us. The trucking, this is what a little bit of show of our tractors here. We got the day cabs, we've got the sleepers, the next two ones, and then the conventional condos, which are a little larger to the end there. And we even have some cab overs that we use. Some of the companies still use cab overs, so we want to get into that. And we have most of these guys, we don't run any 13s like May does, but we do the 9s and 10s. Those are the most popular transmissions.
Right, 9s and 10s out on the road. I think we do have some 13s. I think there are some 13s on the property, though.
There might be some 13s, but we very seldom use them. Those are usually because they are running coast to coast, I guess. But a lot of them do. But there's a lot of reasons for that. But anyway, the big thing is that most of your companies are switching over to your automatics, and we do have some automatics back in the backing pads, which you'll be trying out too. So there's a combination. I don't think we missed too much, Andrew. But the next one,
we have a little bit of everything. I think that's pretty good.
We surely do. We surely do. Now, these are the guys that Andrew's going to show.
I think what I'm most proud of are our graduates, and the class sizes. They range anywhere from 24 to 36 students to a class. Men, women, young, old, every kind of mix and match you could kind of think of. People from all walks of life. And really, what the best part of this is these classes become so tightly knit. Everybody wants to see everybody do well. And all of these men and women, they become your network out in the industry because everybody is going to different companies. Not everybody's there for the same reason. And I want to introduce you to Michael Carlisle. And Michael chose national training because our program would provide him with the most behind-the-wheel driving time. So he went out, he actually did some research, he looked up the different companies, things like that. That's good. And he received 4 serious offers for employment even before he graduated. Is that it's
not unusual, Andrew. We've had students had 6, 8 companies that they did pre-hired. They were pre-hired by these particular companies. Now, that's not really necessary because I think it only confuses the student somewhat. As I said, it's sort of a challenge, I guess, But, you know, you're going to end up 3 to 4 to 5 different companies. That's plenty. And then you can sort of get our help because we have our advisors at school who are going to sit down and talk with you. You know, you're not sure. This is where you're going to get some more information on it, no doubt about it.
Okay, next we have Mark Albert. Mark is a former insurance salesman. He was a foreman in a factory. He didn't want to sit behind the desk anymore. He chose national training because of our great reputation with a professional admissions team and our location. I come to find out that he hails from Keene, New Hampshire. Now, he was here 3 years ago, I believe 3 years ago, January, and there, you know, there it was like 2 degrees in Keene, New Hampshire, and he was down here with just a hoodie. He was probably like 65, 70 degrees in January.
That's right.
Yeah. Here in Jacksonville, so that's kind of cool. And then Marissa Giles, and Marissa is great. She is a 22-year veteran, former Marine. Our training format allowed her to train for her new career. Well, she was still on active duty. Of course, we thank her for her service. And we've graduated many, many military veterans over the past 20, 25 years. Now, Rob, career services and the placement process, you were a big part of helping put that graduate to work program
I guess, Andrew, really going back, and, you know, it was so tough in those years, going back 38 years. Some of the companies just did not know anything about schools. We had a lot to prove, and we proved it and proved it and proved it. Actually, we have more companies available to us than we have students at this time. Yeah. And that's a wonderful thing. I love that. I mean, that just shows what the trucking company, what they're looking for and what they're wanting and need, and they can't get them. But, you know, this is the type of thing that we're doing the counseling, that one-on-one session. And, you know, we're doing this because, again, like we showed a few minutes ago, it was just we have all these companies, but some students aren't quite sure. They want to get into it a little bit heavier as far as, you know, what type of company, what do you think? I want to be home on the weekends, or I'd like to be home at least every 2 weeks, whatever it might be. We're going to sort of guide you into where you want to go. We're not going to push you into something that, you know, you're not interested. Some of these schools out there, I understand that we're very limited because they don't have the hours behind the wheel. You know, ours is around 120 hours that you're backing, docking, driving a highway. This is so important. Some of these schools are like 45 hours. And, you know, they're only can get into somewheres around. They have 3 or 4 main companies that they use because that's all they can use. And most of them, their trainers do most of their training, I believe. That's what I've heard. And that's why they love national training. They have very little, you know, time have to be spent with our students. But in the meantime, what I'm saying is this, that we have these companies available to our students, the local, the regional, the over-the-road, because of the type of training that we give here. But this is where we're going to guide them. We're going to guide them into something that they want to do, so their family and they feel comfortable about it. So they leave the school and they say, "Yeah, this is exactly what I want." And that's our placement. That's how it works.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Rob, I'm seeing we got a lot of questions coming in on the board. Michael Holland, we're going to answer your questions. Michael, Marlon Flores, Alvin Clements, we're going to get to your questions very, very shortly. Where do I stay? And you know, the simple answer is we got people coming in from all over the country, and you pretty much you can stay anywhere you want. But if you're looking for the best deal, we suggest the Green Coast Springs Inn. It's located within 7 miles from the training grounds. And I would suggest that if you're thinking about coming to a class, go ahead and get your reservation set up. You can call the school directly, get that reservation set up. They have refrigerator, microwave, air conditioner, TV, telephone, free local, long-distance calls, free internet. They got a special rate for national training students. It's for about $26 a night. So if you're there for the 4 weeks is about $638. The rooms are. Did I lose you?
No, go ahead.
Okay. The rooms are double occupancy. We share a room with another student. There's a refrigerator, microwave, air conditioner, TV, and telephone. Okay, I'm having some computer issues here. Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
Yeah, okay. I'm just waiting for it to go over here. Is the screen black right now?
No, it's got the Green Cove Springs right here in front of me.
Okay, that's good. Mine isn't. Okay, cost, fees, and financing. Okay, and whenever I talk about the cost, or the fees, or the financing, I always look at the value, and the value as a noun.
Green Cove's still here, Andrew.
Green Cove's still there. Okay, hold on here. I think I've just been hacked. I think the Russians got me.
Huh.
Hold on a second here, Rob.
All right.
What's it showing now?
Still Green Cove.
That's good. That's good. I'm seeing all sorts of weird things on my side. Sorry for the.
I don't think anybody's looking at a blank screen. I think it's just there. We're changing now. We're getting into. Now you're moving.
I'm just closing down some of this stuff so I don't lose it.
Okay.
I'm going to bring this right back up for you. Not responding. Okay. Okay, Rob, what do you see now?
Now it's black.
Okay, now do you see something?
Okay, then, yeah.
Okay,
value.
sorry everybody. I'm back. I'm back with you here. The value, the worth of goods, services, money, or object or a person. Think about this for me for a second. Does job security have value? What value does health benefits for you and your family hold for you? What's the steady income worth for you and your family? The value. Do you want the necessities of life today for you and your family? What's that worth? The value. And, Rob, when we talk about these things, this quality education doesn't cost, it pays. And in the trucking industry, you're going to earn that steady income, that lifetime full of benefits, the job security, the independent lifestyle, the opportunity for advancement, the retirement plan, you get to travel, and of course you get those paid vacations.
That's right.
National training tuition cost is very, very affordable depending upon the individual's needs and qualifications. The tuition cost is about the same as a semester of college. This is a husband and wife team, Rob, and they came through the school. They've decided they're going to drive as a team for 3 years. Bank as much money as they can bank in the 3 years, and then buy their dream home for cash. Very, very doable.
Yes, it is.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, it's all good. We have it all. After all, we've been doing this for a very, very long time. We have the companies and we have the jobs. We have the industry recognition. We have impeccable governmental relationships. We have guaranteed tuition financing for everybody. We have over 38,000 graduates that came here before you tonight. We have a program that's really, really fun to complete. And we have an awesome, awesome training facility. Of course, we appreciate all of our students from the Department of Veterans Affairs, our post 9/11 GI Bill, Montgomery GI Bill, Chapter 30, 31, 33, 35, all of our Department of Vocational Rehab people, all of our state voc rehab people, all of our different states that participate in the workforce programs, the WIOA, Ticket to Work programs, all of the Bureau of Indian Affairs, all the different tribes that send their members to national training because they know they're going to have jobs when they come out. Now let's go ahead and open up the phone lines, Rob. And,
sure.
I'm going to go to Alvin. Alvin, we're going to make you first. If you go ahead and click on your microphone, you can ask your question live.
Hello.
Hi, Alvin. Hi, Alvin. What city and state are you calling in from?
I'm from Miami.
Miami, excellent.
Yep, from Florida.
Good, good. What's your question tonight?
I mean, just because I have kids, I have a wife and things like that, but, she really understands. She's actually very supportive of this decision, so, I'm going to be on the road a lot, but I still want to have time to spend with my family, so I wanted to know the money difference as far as riding out of town and just, driving local.
Well, I'll tell you, Miami is a great place to live. There's not a lot of companies that will hire directly from Miami.
So, hold on. Let me cut you off for a second. I'm moving to Jacksonville, so I'll probably be stationed in Jacksonville.
Okay, so if you're in Jacksonville, if you're north of I-4, a lot of the companies are going to open up for you. All right.
Okay.
And the reasoning behind that is they have a lot of stuff going into Miami. They don't have a lot coming out. So trucking companies today, they actually worry about the drivers. They want to be able to get you home for your home time. They want you to spend time with your wife. They want you to spend time with your kids. But if you're going to be up in Jacksonville, the lane, there's a lot more choices in the lanes that you can drive. And we have companies that where you can be home every night. We have companies that you might be gone 2-3 nights a week, 4 nights a week, and be home. And then you got the road warrior guys that might be out there 7, 10, 14 days at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of choice. Not only do we talk about the box trucks, but then you can go into flatbed, you can go into tankers, you can go into all sorts of other types of trucking as well. So there's a very good variety of different jobs. And
what I've always said about Jacksonville, Andrew, was I just want to add one thing on this because why Jacksonville? Why the school picked Jacksonville many years ago. Number one, you got I-95 come straight down from Maine all the way down to Miami, right? You've got I-10, which comes in from Los Angeles and ends in Jacksonville. Straight line driving, right on through, all the way through, under I-10. You got over 1,000 containers coming in here every month off the boats. I mean, and remember, I don't know if you remember, Andrew, a few years ago, National did I forget who was here at the time. It was in the recruiting or actually was doing our placement. They did a study. It was 156 trucking companies that were based out of Jacksonville. It was something like that. Actually, in corporations and so forth. So this was what I call a trucking community if I've ever seen one up here. That's one of the big reasons. That's always been that way. I hope that answers one of your questions.
Alvin, the companies that I would have you look at it right off the top of my head, for a guy that wants to kind of be home a little bit more, might be a company like Comcar Industries.
Okay.
And they have like CCC, CT, things like that. But once you get here, we'll really sit down with you and we'll go through exactly what it is, and we'll hook you up with the right company.
Okay.
Alvin, are you in the service, or did you move up here, or what is it?
Oh, February 9th. That's my move date.
Very good. Well, if you're in Miami now, I think Rob is your rep anyway.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
We'll get to you. We'll see you probably tomorrow. I'll give you a call. Okay.
Okay. Not a problem.
All right. All right. And I'll give you all the fill-ins, all the things you want to know about. Break it down and so forth.
Okay. Let's go to we're going to go to Marlon next. Marlon Flores.
Sure.
Hi, Marlon. Marlon, if you go ahead and click the green button, we can answer any questions you have. There you go.
Yeah. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. How about you?
Good. Good. Okay. I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Yeah, I do not have my CDL Class A license, but I want to see if I can get it.
That's exactly what we do here at the school.
That's what we do.
Do you guys happen to have a company that actually will pay for the schooling and then I can actually work for them? Or?
Well, yeah, you could do that. That's called contract training, Marlon. And again, for some people that's great. For some people it's not so good, because the problem with them is you're going to have to sign a contract with them, and it leaves you not very much flexibility. If you don't like something that they do, you're stuck there until you have it. With us, we have a financing program for everybody. So just sit with your recruiter. He can explain the contract training to you as well. But see if you can do it without having to sign a contract is always the best way.
Right.
Okay. Do you guys happen to have a recruiter in Orlando, Florida, or just Jacksonville?
No. We have recruiters that handle the whole state of Florida. Have you been to the website, and has any recruiters contacted you yet?
No, actually, CR England was the one that I'm supposed to go this weekend to Jacksonville to start my school.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, we do the training for CR England, and they are a great company. What I like about CR England is they have a lot of miles, and their contract is only 9 months. Their contract is only 9 months, where a lot of the other ones are 3 and 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's good. So I would be your representative. Okay. You should have gotten something from me then in your email.
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah.
Yeah, you send that back right away, because the seats do fill up very quickly, Marlon.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, sir.
We'll see you on Saturday. Are you coming up by bus?
That is correct, sir. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be picking you up at the bus station on Saturday as well.
Okay. Cool. Awesome.
Okay. Very good.
Okay. Thank you.
All righty. Next, we're going to go to Michael Holland. Hi, Michael. Michael, if you go ahead and click on the green button. Michael Holland, if you click on the green button, we can hear you. The green microphone. All right. Hold on, let me see if I can find Michael's questions. I'm afraid I will lose my screen again if I do it, though. All right, Michael Holland, roughly, what's the cost of the tuition? Michael, the cost of the program is $59.95. $59.95. What is the daily schedule like for school? Well, the first day is 10 to 5:30. Every other day is 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Okay. It's broken on my phone. Okay, you're on your phone. Okay, no problem, Michael. I hope that answers your questions. Let me see if I missed any of yours. I've been told by another trucking school that I could not attend with them while working a full-time 48-hour week. Is this a rule applied to your school? No, that's not a rule. Basically, though, you do have to be here, from 7 to 5:30, Monday through Friday. So you have to be able to make that work out. Okay. All right. I think that covers most of the questions.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody else has a question, feel free to go ahead and raise your hand, and we'll open up your microphone. Alvin, you got one more question. Go ahead, Alvin. Go ahead and click the microphone green, the green microphone. You could ask one more question. Go ahead.
My last question is: we have to be on campus, right?
Thank you.
No, not necessarily. I mean, you have to be for school hours. You have to be here, yeah.
Okay.
But you don't have to stay with us or anything like that. You can stay wherever you want.
No, wherever you want. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to be in Jacksonville, you can drive back and forth every day.
Okay.
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 All right. We do not have.
I'll be talking to you.
We do not have a truck webinar next week. Next week we're going to have a heavy equipment webinar. The week after that, the company that's coming in is going to be the company coming in after that is going to be Carolina Cargo. Carolina Cargo.
That's great.
The company coming in. And, Rob, you know, we're going to have an open house, but we're going to do it at one of our trucking companies' terminals. And that's going to be on Wednesday, January the 18th.
Right, I'll just put my bid in for that.
It's going to be at Comcar Industries. It's going to be at Comcar Industries. That's going to be a fantastic thing. It goes from, I believe it's 10 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon.
Something like that.
Dogs and hamburgers and
hamburgers. Yeah. Chance for everybody to see the equipment and actually
for their terminal.
Right.
Probably some. I think we're going to have a truck there as well, so we might be able to give some rides and things like that.
Right. Exactly. That'd be great.
So that's what things are looking at. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. We had a nice group of men and women online with us tonight. Rob Nelson, thank you for hosting. You always do such a great job. Such a great job of getting the information out there. If you have more questions, please contact your admissions representative first thing tomorrow, 1-800-488-7364. Your lost time is costing you big money. It's all good. Just make sure you call. Rob, go ahead and tell everybody how to get out of here tonight.
Okay, guys. Just all you got to do is come to there and see where it says number 2. Just hit that file. And just drop down that says exit leave webinar with your pointer and just hit that one time. That'll take you smoothly right out. And, the thing of it is you're not caught in here. So anyway, it's been a pleasure. Look forward to talking to you. Hope you can make it up to school one day, and we'll go from there, okay? Good.
And next Tuesday night, don't forget, next Tuesday night we're going to do the heavy equipment webinar.
Heavy equipment next Tuesday night. That's great.
Right.
I look forward to that, too. It's been a long time. Okay.
Yep, it has.
Thanks, Andrew.
All right, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks, Marlon. All right, we're clear.
Okay. Yeah, okay. What'd you think of that, Andrew? It's a shame that...
It's a shame the lady wasn't there. It was a lot of good questions.
Yeah, it was good questions, I think, But why, what are we getting this screw up about nobody showing up anymore? What is this? I don't understand that. I mean, they tell us we're going to be there.
I'm gonna flat out blame Iwa.
You're going to do what?
I'm going to blame Iwa. It's our job to get people there, and I
mean, it's consistently like this, isn't it? It just seems that way.
There's not much more that I can do.
I know you can't. It's just,
And I mean,
if she can't do it, then we'll get somebody else. That's all. I don't know what else you can do. What else can it be?
I almost had Larry talked into that, and he can't do something to somebody who's sick.
Well,
he's soft.
Yeah.
But it makes it bad for all of us.
It sure does, because we invite all these people, and they're looking for, the type of guy like that would come, or the girl, whatever it is, and some are good, some are bad. It doesn't make any difference. At least they can pinpoint, because this company didn't have a lot of information there, did it? I mean, not what we're looking for, like tuition reimbursement and some of the things and their benefits.
All that stuff Stephen did. Stephen came up with all of that. He went to the website and did the research. I mean, they did nothing. She sent me an email telling me it was all set, that she needed a PowerPoint for them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I did my...
a company like May should have all that stuff. I mean, that's